the GMC Sierra EV truck. Just like its twin, the Silverado EV, this is going to be for a very small subset of the population. But before I get into that, I'm going to talk about pricing. This thing is about 65 grand all the way up to $100,000. However, you have to hear this. They are throwing money in terms of rebates and deals from Costco to cash back, all this. You can buy these down quite a bit. Even the Silverado has 0% interest and pretty decent lease deals. So if you're in the market for a new one, definitely do your work to get the money or get it bought down. If you look at the used market on these, much like most EVs, within a year, you're finding a really well spec'd out version of these things for around $65,000 to $70,000. And when you start thinking about it that way, I think you're going to be excited for this. But let's talk about who this is for. This is for the tech bro that is more forward. They are going to utilize some of the features here that the EV truck can bring. Like the fact that if you get the extended or max range version of this, you're dealing with an over 200 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is 3 Nissan Leafs in terms of battery. So you have to have a garage space to plug this in and charge it at home. You do not want to be dealing with DC fast charging with this unless you're on a road trip. You have to be okay with knowing when you tow, you're going to lose half your range. But when you're dealing with a massive battery pack like this that can push you over 450 miles of range, it's less of an issue. You know that you're probably going to be utilizing this local. If you're a contractor or someone that has local work, you can use the outlets in the bed to power real power tools and real things. This is a massive generator on wheels for your home and for a campsite or for a work site. The other thing is in camp mode, you can let this thing run all night. HVAC is running quietly. Nobody's even going to know that this thing is on other than maybe some cooling fans that kick on or, you know, that part of the HVAC is running. So you can literally take this anywhere and turn it into like this camper royale. And I really like that about it. The other thing that's going to do over internal combustion is you have the dual motor thing, which gives you rear steer and crab walking capability. And the crab walk is just a marketing thing of its rear steer ability to turn its wheels at a massive angle, which creates the ability to maneuver this thing around like you wouldn't believe. So it reduces the footprint of it, along with its storage, its refinement. It doesn't feel like any body on frame truck you'll ever get into. It's so refined and quiet. The usability of it, the back seat room, it has stuff that is so unique to an EV truck that if you're willing to spend the money and you have the place for it in your home to use it as it's intended, you're going to love it. Now, of course, there's some negative parts about what GM's done. You can't pair up Android Auto or Apple CarPlay with this. You have to use the onboard Android Automotive with its built-in Google Maps because all of that is integrated with the charging strategy, where you can charge, and of course, they want to be able to control the ecosystem here and over-the-air updates. They don't want you they want you connected, let's just put it that way with the EV thing. So again, there's all these tech things that this builds in, and if you're up for that, you're gonna love it. If you hate that, don't even listen to this video anymore and just delete this video out of your memory.
He did not want to be seen. He was content flying under the radar. Every aspect of his life was stealth, or so he thought. After his data wound up online, spammers were constantly trying to contact him or sell him on something. Worse yet, published his public records on websites. Modern data brokers buy and sell personal information and then publish it online. He was losing his mind worrying about his personal data, even at home. That's why Delete Me sponsored this video. Guys like Teddy has their personal data poached from apps, services, and data brokers are no longer front and center. He reviewed his quarterly report and found his past addresses, public records, and so much more were searchable. He was busy at the gym and had no time to manually request removal from hundreds of brokers. Delete Me takes a shotgun approach to requesting mass removals of all your data, taking back control of your personal data. If you have time, they have guides to help you do it yourself. You can track progress and add family members to your account. So when you start Googling yourself late at night, you have a better chance of knowing Delete Me is working on the back end to remove your personal info for you. If you want to buy in, use our code to get 20% off an annual subscription. Go to joindeleteme.com/savagegeese today.
The GMC Sierra EV. Yes, sir. The first thing to talk about is refinement. I said this on the interior space of this truck, and typically body on frame gives you this kind of rubber bandy, jouncy feel to it, depending on how they have the suspension set up. This platform is really solid. You can feel it. You can also feel the immense amount of weight that is in this. You can't get away even with the electrical mechanical systems, the steering, the rear steer. It's always helping you, but it definitely feels its mass. It's one of those vehicles that just feels big on the road. And obviously when you're talking about something with the weight of this, like the Hummer we drove was, pushing 10,000 pounds. This is insane as well. Clearly you have to have your head wrapped around of all the things they had to do to mitigate weight. So in terms of drivability, there's a few things to talk about. One is efficiency. You're not buying this because it's an efficient EV. It's 1.5 miles per kilowatt hour. That's why they put a massive battery pack in here when you go up in terms of trim level, so you can mitigate the fact that this isn't the most efficient thing. And really, you're gonna get about 300 to 350 miles per charge in normal conditions with the kind of extended range pack. When you go up to the max pack, then you're getting 400 plus, and this varies so greatly. We talk about it with electric cars all the time, depending on tires, temperature. Namely, temperature has the biggest bearing on how the battery performs. Here, I don't think you're gonna have to worry about it if you're working in the confines of what you're trying to do with this. Now, in terms of ride quality, this really struggles with these low amplitude, high frequency impacts. We're talking about like sharp, really quick changes in pavement, like little tiny bumps or little tiny dips. It just, it punishes you. It's really noticeable in the front of this. It's definitely not refined out. It's the high amplitude, lower frequency stuff it does a much better job with. But these little tiny dips, you really, really feel it in this truck. And it's one thing I know that they could definitely do some work on. The other thing that I have an issue with is the steering is just got this real weird vagueness to it. It's kind of drifty. It kind of feels like it's constantly kind of pulling you left or right. And as you get on throttle, it always feels like the truck is kind of doing its own thing directionally. Now, clearly, I want to be honest, this thing has like 5,500 miles on it, and that's like 20,000 miles in a regular car. I don't know if the alignment's off a little bit, but it definitely is exacerbated by wind conditions. Like today, it's 25 mile an hour winds, so the thing is just definitely blown around more, and the airborne noise isn't as well controlled in here as some of the other EVs that we drive. Now, overall, I think the controls are pretty good. Like throttle pedal calibration's really smooth and easy to use. It never really throws your head around. It's really simple to drive this like a regular car. Now, in terms of they constantly talk about brake blending. When you talk about EVs, when you get in a brake, there's regen first and then friction braking. So you're trying to blend real brakes with the digital part of regen. I think they did a really good job here. With the exception of this left paddle, which kind of controls your regen braking. And it's like basically a brake pedal with your left hand. And you can kind of control the braking with regen all the way almost down to a stop, really down to a stop. And I feel like I wish they just had better regen control of doing that in an automatic setting. I just feel like this is kind of like a weird thing they've included, and I've tried to use it more just to get more regen out of it. And the more I've gotten used to it, the more I'd rather just use the brake pedal. I know what they're trying to do here, but really what I'm getting at is this is clearly a first generation product. A first generation product that GM spent a massive amount of money on. And this is something we talked to the Corvette engineers about. The reason the Corvette is so great is they have their best people working on it, and generationally have their best people working on it. So they've gotten to a place where it's an incredible driving car. Everything is finessed. They have literally no constraints in budget in this generation to get things done. I felt like a lot of that was done here, but what this needs most is a second generation to refine out some of these things, that the detail stuff that's not perfectly done here, from kind of ride quality, the head toss, just the smoothness of the electromechanical systems needs some refinement. I know they shot for the moon here, and it's great what they did. I think what this is going to be the best for you is understanding that you're buying this under warranty, 100% under warranty, and don't mess around with this thing outside of that, because as much as they're trying to fix the first generation issues over the air, I think they're not going to have the cycles of learning here on how to mitigate this weight. If you have a battery issue, thank God you don't have to replace the pack. But if you ever have to replace the pack, you know, you're basically, it's $20,000 to $40,000 depending on the scenario and what pack you have. So again, like really my major concern here is this is, as much as I like it as a tech play, this is something that you're gonna try for this generation because you like the things that it offers. And hopefully GM commits to a second generation where they can figure out how to drive down costs and refine some of these things out, because there's a bright future in this for that small percentage of people that really like this type of technology. And I think personally, I like this better than their regular internal combustion setup, but I don't know that this is a truck that I could deal with like long term. I would deal with it from like 3 years and just dump it into the next one. And I think that's the sad part about these things, is they're definitely more disposable at this point. But GM did a really good job on a first generation product trying to get this out there, and all the things that it includes are pretty great. Clearly, this is kind of a quick look at this truck. If you really want to check out more technical detail, Jack did an interview with the gentleman that was in charge of the Ultium, the battery control system, and all of that in our previous video. So check that out for more technical detail. But until then, we'll see you next time.